Okay, folks, welcome to Volume 3 in the Inner Circle Traders Market Maker Collection. This is the third installment of 12 in the continuing series. And this one is going to be dealing with understanding institutional manipulation and stop running. Now, if you have looked at all my older series and some of the particular modules that I taught regarding stop runs and raids, and utilization of what a concept I call Power 3. We will be revisiting that in this particular module, and we're going to be focusing on true day. Okay, what is true day? True day is a concept that it outlines or gives the framework to the overall daily range and how the dealers work within those specific time frames. We're going to be talking about the implications of that and the blending of True Day and Power 3 together to give you a more clear view as to what's going on a daily basis in the marketplace. And we're going to be introducing the idea of stop runs and false price swings. And we're going to be building on the framework that leads us into the next two installments where we start dealing with a lot more specifics as to how stop raids are utilized, how they are set up before they happen. You'll know exactly when to anticipate that occurring, and if you happen to miss it, how you trade with it on the left side of your chart. In other words, how do you use it if you've missed the opportunity, or if you were an unfortunate loser in a particular setup that you had taken action in. If it stopped you out, how do you go back in and take advantage of the raid that you were unfortunately a participant in? So let's get a better look at what specifically we're going to be dealing with in this series, and let's go over to the price charts and build some foundation for this particular teaching. Okay, we're looking at the British pound versus the US dollar, or what we commonly refer to in Forex as the cable. Okay, I want to ask you a question, and this is going to be more or less framed on the basis of what we shared in the first and second installment of this series. And I'm going to ask you, we outlined the idea that in the middle of this 2014 time frame, we had a pretty significant high placed in the British pound USD pair. And we talked about the framework that led to being the catalyst for that high in the marketplace and the subsequent low in the dollar index in the first first of this video series. And then in the second installment, we were talking about further um, details as we utilize these higher time frame macro principles. Okay, now we're going to take it even one step further, really going to give you the understanding to build the framework for you as a developing trader or someone that's been doing it for a long time that just doesn't have the consistency that you're looking for, or you actually have intermittent consistency, which is typical of uh, moderate length of time in terms of trading. For those that have been in the markets for a while, you still may not be as consistent as you'd like to be. This particular module is actually going to be a supercharger, okay, for those that aren't familiar with some of these concepts. They're absolutely unique to me, and I think you're going to be very blessed by it. And I want to ask you a question looking at this chart. When we see the high in the markets like this, okay, when we're looking at the price up here making its high, okay, and then starting to trade lower, the common question is that the noobs or neophyte traders, okay, I don't mean that to be rude, okay, it's just what it is. I was a noob a long, long time ago too. The looking at charts like this, I was always intrigued with what was the catalyst that led to these moves like this? Because my understanding is this, and it's probably along the same lines as you as a trader. Okay, you look at these charts and you say to yourself, man, if I could just know when the market's going to do this, okay, and then have these prolonged moves, all I could do is simply just sit back and wait for these types of moves, okay, and then I would just trade those and hold on to it and do very well. And I would agree with that. Okay, the problem is the retail universe and all of the pseudo gurus and teachers out there that supposedly know what they're doing, they don't teach what we're teaching in this entire series. Okay, and the reason why they don't teach it is A, they don't know it. Two, they've never been exposed to my work. Okay. Or three, they may know it and aren't sharing it with you. Okay. And that's absolutely within the realm of possibility. So I'll leave you to decide which one your particular guru is, or author, or teacher, okay, that you haven't had exposure to, which one of those three camps he or she resides in. Either one, okay, you've been left in the dark as it relates to this type of information. And I can assure you that if you're blown away by this installment, you're going to get absolutely knocked out completely, okay, with the subsequent, five installments behind this one. Okay, so knowing that in advance, and I know there's a whole lot of build up, as we're talking here, and you just want me to get right into it. I just want you to understand something. This was the beginning foundational turning points for me to be consistent. So a lot of folks will email me over the several last 4 years or so, really, since I've been specifically teaching only in Forex. 1998, I was in commodities trading. Okay, I didn't have as much feedback then, and I wasn't really readily accessible then as I am now in the Forex industry. So I get a lot of feedback via email, 300 to 400 emails on a daily basis. So there's a lot of, you know, correspondence I get and questions. And the number one reoccurring question is, how do I know, or how can they, as the emailer sending the inquiry to me, how can they know with certainty that a particular move is underway? And I will say this: I don't know with absolute certainty that a move is going to ensue. Okay, I never, no one never does that. Okay, but I can give you the highest probable conditions where those moves that we anticipate, where they will reside and how they'll occur. Okay, I may be off by one day, okay, in terms of a higher time frame turning point. Now, again, I'm saying this with the understanding that I do not want you believing that you can go in and pick major tops and major bottoms on a consistent basis. You don't need to do that, okay? But once you start seeing these major tide changes, okay, on the higher time frames, it gives you the confidence to work within that overall directional premise. Okay, so a lot of folks will ask me, how do I know if the day's going to be up or down? Well, I really never know that for certain. Okay, but I'm going to give you again the framework to know how you have statistical odds that you can look at and go back over your charts and look at it. Okay, and study it on your own. Don't take my word for it. Don't let me just give you the examples in this video here. You, as the developing trader and viewer of this series, I want you to go back through your charts, whether it be Forex or whether it be any asset class you want. Go back and look at the markets like this, and you're going to see clearly that there's an absolute reoccurring phenomenon that goes on and on and on every single day, and it happens consistently enough that even if you're wrong once or twice in a week, you can still go out in that same week if you're controlling your risk, and if you've taken a loss, you can pull that loss back to a break even and even move to a profitable state going into the close of that week. Now, because we are looking at the higher time frame premise like this, and we're looking for the overall institutional order flow on a higher time frame, what we're looking for is this uh, major move higher or major move lower. Okay, but how do we know when we can anticipate those types of moves, and then what do we do once they occur? What should we anticipate seeing as a result as these moves take place in the marketplace? So what is it we're looking for? Well, obviously, looking at this chart, we can clearly see